Welcome to the final episode of Legacy Collection Chat, our new series which has aimed to provide you with a deep dive into the Mattel Legacy Collection and the origins of this prestigious line. I've been your host throughout the series, Tom Jurassic, and with me today to see us over the finish line is the man himself, JC.
Hey Tom!
Hey man, how's it going?
Yeah, good. I'm a little bit sad today that this is the final episode of this season of Legacy Collection Chat.
I like how we are saying season. This committal talk makes me very terrified.
To be fair, the amount of preparation you put into this over the Christmas holidays, I'm saying next Christmas it's just not happening. We're doing Legacy Collection brainstorming session. There's no more Christmases.
We're not allowed Christmas anymore, guys. That's the cost of making this content for you. So exclusives are something which are hit or miss with collectors. We love the opportunity to get rare items we may not otherwise receive in a core assortment, but it can be a pain tracking them down when availability and distribution are not up to scratch. Today, Mattel's Legacy Collection has received 3 exclusives: John Hammond, Dennis Nedry, and most recently, Ray Arnold. In our final episode of Legacy Collection Chat, we will break down these exclusives and tell you what we like about them. Hold on to your butts, as it's going to be a fun conclusion to this series. So, JC, we've received 3 San Diego Comic-Con exclusives to date for the Legacy Collection. Did you ever imagine still receiving Jurassic Park SDCC exclusives so many years after the film first released?
No, absolutely not. I'd be surprised if they did turn up at San Diego Comic-Con, but if they did, I thought they'd be like one-offs.
Yeah.
So, maybe Todd McFarlane did like a one-off Nedry or something, or, that sort of thing. And if that happened, that would be amazing. Just that one thing would be amazing. But the amount we've got and the way that they've been presented it's blown my mind. It's been amazing. And the collectability, now, they're really sought after, some of them. So it's just amazing how collectible they've stayed. So and I just never expected this, but it's great.
I think, that's a fair observation. It's something that we never saw coming, but it's definitely been fun getting hands-on with them. So let's start with the first figure, the creator of Jurassic Park itself, John Parker Hammond. And I'm going with Parker. If you want to say Alfred, fight me in the comments if you must. But we're going with John Parker Hammond. And I'm curious, what did you think of the way this figure was presented? For anyone who hasn't seen it, it comes in a box that emulates the Jurassic Park gates, and then you can open the gates up, and essentially on the inside you've got the figure in its normal clamshell packaging. So how was that for the first SDCC exclusive, JC?
I think it's great. I think that's the kind of standard like SDCC protective outer box that keeps your figure inside, your special edition figure inside nice. It's on the simple side, but actually the figure that you get inside is really nice, and the accessories that come with it. So I don't think I've got anything to complain about, really. It is what it is. It's John Hammond as a figure that we've wanted for years, and it comes in a nice little outer box. And if anything, the outer box adds to the appeal of it's hidden away, so you want to tear it open and see what's inside. So I don't have any complaints about the way it's part. I think it's excellent.
That's good. That's what we'd like to hear. So what did you think of the figure more broadly, I guess? Is this a figure that you're happy with when it comes to the portrayal of John Hammond, Richard Attenborough? Do you think it's a figure that captures the likeness quite well?
I think it's a detailed figure.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean they've captured the likeness exactly.
Yeah.
But for an action figure, when you compare it to like the Kenner figures, it sits perfectly within that sort of, you know, that realm of likeness. The articulation's good, obviously, on Hammond. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a very appealing figure. I think it's pretty good. They could have got the likeness dead on, but it's more about just having a Hammond figure. I think if you were like me with the Kenner line, when you're a kid, you didn't really want a Hammond figure. I have to be honest. I never once thought, oh, I wish I had a John Hammond figure. Maybe kids did. But he wasn't exactly an action figure, so you didn't feel that he was missing.
Oh, I want a figure of an old man in a straw bow tie.
Well, exactly. When I got older, I was thinking, actually, there are figures that you think Lex and Hammond would have been nice to have them all in a row. And this is fulfilling that kind of collector's itch. You know, it's scratching that itch.
Yeah.
So, and I think it does that wonderfully.
Awesome. No, I'm really glad to hear that it's a figure you're happy with. And I agree, as the father of Jurassic Park, it's a character that I think every collector has wanted to add to their collection. So I'm really interested, actually. What are your thoughts on the unique accessory they packed in here, which is the form of the baby raptor hatching in like its little incubator? Obviously, the baby raptor is the wrong colour, unfortunately. But beyond that, what do you think of this for an accessory?
I think it's really cool. Doesn't it light up as well?
I think so, yeah.
So I think that's a really nice feature to have it light up as well. And it comes with Hammond's cane as well, right?
Yeah, it does.
So, I mean, that's it. I mean, as long as you've got Hammond's cane in there somewhere, I'd say it's good enough. But the fact it comes with this little light up extra feature with the hatchling, that's cool. That's a nice extra that they didn't need to throw in there. And it's a bit like we were talking on the last episode about the Jungle Explorer and maybe there being one extra figure, like, you know, Grant or something. It's that extra bit on top that just makes it extra appealing. Just makes you think, yeah, actually, that's really good now. That's a really cool little set. They've really gone all out, and that's what they did with this first SDCC exclusive.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think it's that extra attention to detail and that extra added value that is so important in creating something which is appealing from an exclusive standpoint.
Absolutely.
And that leads really nicely onto the next figure. So, I was about to say we've got Dodgson here, but we don't. We have the person who accompanies him, and that is Dennis Nedry. And I've got to ask right off the bat, the presentation of this figure in the Barbasol can, what did you think?
I think, you know, I didn't think it would be possible that they do something better than Hammond.
Yeah.
But they have. I mean, instantly. Because, you know, for a lot of people, they've wanted the Barbasol can as a collectible, but haven't been able to afford the fan-made replicas that have circulated online and aren't numerous. And Chronicle were going to provide a replica, screen-accurate replica, and a lot of people, were going to get one of those before they went bankrupt. So actually, it's a sought-after collectible because it didn't come to fruition. So there's that side of it. Then you've got the fact that the Nedry figure is him in his Hawaiian shirt, which is just the level of attention to detail there, and also just the hilariousness of it as a humorous action figure. It's just hilarious. Like, why would you do the version of him in the Hawaiian shirt? To me, it's just funny on the shelf as well. It's like a good conversation piece. Then you've got the lights, and it's got sounds as well, right?
Yes. You didn't say the magic word.
So, I mean, it's just like, where do you even begin with something like that? That is basically how, if in an ideal world, how all the figures would come. Like, each one would have their own individual little container that is themed to them. That would be the dream. So this is like a dream figure, and you can see why it's so sought after now. Because it's like, when you find out that this thing exists, if you're not collecting the Mattel line, that's one that you probably would pick up because it's so cool, so unique. And also, like I said, it's got the double accessory. It's got the Barbasol can, which you can display on its own as well. So, I just think there's so much going for it. And it's just, surpasses the Hammond figure. So, And it's not one, again, it's not one as a kid you ever thought, oh, I wish I had Nedry in his Hawaiian shirt when he sat at the table stuffing his face. That's not what I wanted. But now...
But you're happy we got it, right?
But now it exists. I'm like, oh, who was the genius who got this screen lit? You know, who got this made? Because whoever it was a genius. And there might have been some debate as to whether it was going to be him in his yellow jacket or not. And they were like, no, it's got to be him in his Hawaiian shirt. It's got to be. And like they were like, okay, all right, we'll do the Hawaiian shirt. We'll do all that detailed decaling of his body, and you know, it just staggers my mind. It just it's amazing that it exists.
Yeah, I agree with that fully. I wanted to get your thoughts on the actual figure when we get it out of the packaging as well, because you have this really cool insert where you get like the background of the Costa Rican bar where he meets Dodgson, that you can display him in, and you also get a couple of really cool accessories. You get the Barbasol can, you get the bag that he carries with the can inside, and you also get the piece of pie with the cream on top of it. So what do you think about all of that and the way the figure comes together? Happy with it, yeah?
Yeah, for me it's humorous. It's almost like, I don't know, I just feel like it's such a funny thing. It goes beyond like action figure and becomes like just a humorous collectible, and it just makes me laugh. I mean, that is a good reaction, right? If you see this little figure and it tickles you, makes you laugh, that's kind of surpassed its purpose. I mean, I can't see kids playing with it, but I guess there are some kids who've probably got this.
Yeah.
And, you know, having him put the cream on the pie, you know, playing with that. I'm sure there are kids out there playing with it.
That was not a sentence I was ready for
But you know what I mean? You can imagine kids out there playing with the Nedry figure in his Hawaiian shirt. I'm sure there are. So it's just a funny, humorous toy, and I just never thought it would exist. I mean, who could have predicted, eh?
Yeah.
That's chaos.
That's chaos theory. Not to be confused with chaos theorem. So that, I mean, I was going to ask you as well if you ever expected to see a figure made of Nedry in this shirt, but I think you've perfectly communicated the fact that you didn't, and the fact that they've done it just adds so much more appeal to it, doesn't it? Because it is something unique that we never imagined getting our hands on, really.
It's a one-off, and I have to say, the outer box is so classy. Like, it's such a contrast, this toy. Because outside, it's just a black box with the Jurassic Park logo, and they've used that lovely darker red, which I wish they'd use more often, because there's something really classic about a darker red in the logo.
Yeah.
And
it's almost like blood red, isn't it?
It is. And then you open it up, and it's funny, then it's Nedry. Yeah. So there's a lovely like contrast of tone there. That just it's just a very exciting thing to open. And
do you know what? I think the Legacy Collection chat theme tune would complement the unboxing of this figure perfectly. Just the do do do.
Yeah, that's a good point. Or maybe that could be season 2's titles.
Yeah.
Opening the Nedry.
Yeah, it really are committing us to a second season, huh?
Well, like I said, no Christmas this year, Tom. Christmas is cancelled. I'm sorry. We've got to get ready for the second season.
It's okay. It's fine. I'll outsource it. It's fine. Let us know in the comments if you want to edit a season 2. Okay, so I'm going to keep us moving forward, and this is the last exclusive that we have, which is Arnold in a Jurassic Park bunker style package. Yes. So what did you think of the unboxing experience here? Because I feel like it's a little bit different and a little bit more involved than the figures that have come beforehand.
Yeah, so this is, are you going to have to fill me in here? Because I have this, but I haven't opened it.
Okay.
And I know what it looks like, and I know some of the features of it, but I'd like to just be refreshed.
Okay, so I have this one on my shelf.
Okay.
And I actually think I ended up putting it back in the box because the display looks so good. And essentially what happens is you open it up, And the first box you get is the exterior of the Jurassic Park emergency bunker. There's then a second box which gives you more of the exterior of the bunker, and you fold down a flap, and it's the interior with the metal grated floor, a button, a Velociraptor, the breaker switches, and Ray Arnold. And what you can do is press the button and it will light up and give you quotes from Ray Arnold in the film. That's right. Okay. Yeah, that is pretty awesome. Again, I think I prefer the Dennis Nedry. What's interesting about this one is it's a scenario that's not on screen, right? Yes. And that's the interesting part about this one that I had to kind of get my head round is Mattel are actually trying to show a deleted scene in a toy. Yeah. Which was, that's cool, but it's like, wow, that's interesting. And it feels appropriate for San Diego Comic-Con because it's the type of place where you sell Easter eggs or things that are hidden or, behind the scenes stuff. So it feels appropriate. I thought they sold Easter eggs in Tesco's. But yeah, I mean, it's like I think it's appropriate for the convention. It's one of those sort of Easter egg toys, isn't it? Yeah, 100%. I think that works really well. But and his arm comes off, right? Yes. So you can do all of that, and then it's also got the little bunker diorama. It does. Which is, I mean, that's awesome for playability for kids. They can have their Ellie figure doing the bunker and the power shed. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a really cool set. I don't think it's as good as Nedry, just because Nedry's such a iconic figure and it's such a funny thing doing his Hawaiian shirt with a pie and everything. But it's still, wow. I mean, you're getting loads there in as an SDCC set. That's amazing. It is a really cool pack. I wanted to ask you actually with this one specifically as well about the Velociraptor, because I was curious as to how this raptor compares to Kenner Velociraptors, because it feels like they went more down the Kenner route with the presentation on this one, where it's not quite accurate to the Jurassic Park design, but they wanted to get some striping and some other cool details in instead. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's not 100% accurate. There are better Raptors they've done in the Mattel line. I think the Raptor is probably the part that leaves the most to be desired, but it makes sense because they've already had Raptors. It's a retooled sculpt, isn't it? Yeah. Is it? Yeah, so it makes sense that they're reused. You wouldn't do a whole new sculpt just for this one, because then how would it sit with their other legacy figures? It would be weird. Yeah. So I can understand why that's where they've compromised, really. Yeah. Is the Raptor, because they're like, well, we can make one of those. Yeah. But yeah, it would have been nice if that was more accurate. And I don't know whether the posing is a bit funny. Yeah, it's the crouched pose, which isn't the favourite pose amongst fans, to say the least. Yeah, so you could have had a better posed Raptor. But, these are minor gripes considering how cool the set is and how... I mean, it's possible that after Dominion we don't get any more of these. Yeah. I mean, that's a reality. I hope that's not the case. But it's a possibility, right? While we're in the hype storm of Jurassic Park. And if you think about it that way, if you think, let's say there were 3 or 4 of these at SDC and then that's it, you've got to think, this is it. This is this is amazing. Getting the Hammond, getting Nedry, getting Ray Arnold, and then one more maybe, and then that's it. That's Naked Malcolm. Naked Malcolm. Yeah, well, they are doing that, aren't they? That's the one, isn't it? With the book. So that's cool, but that might be it. So then you've got to think, wow, it's really... you've got to think you're grateful for it, really, because it's so special, such a special thing, a rare treat. Yeah. So, I wanted to ask how you feel about the breaker box inclusion as a plastic accessory here, because I think this is something really cool, and it's something I wish they'd done a lot sooner, so I'm interested as to what you think about including little diorama pieces with the figures. I think that's great. I think that's a brilliant idea. Yeah, the more the merrier. I think... they did it with Hammond with the hatchery as well. Yeah. So I think those accessories are really good. I wish they'd have some play sets that go with them. Yeah, that would be a control room with a lab on the side. They're kind of setting it up for that. Yeah. Because they've got Muldoon, they've got Arnold, they've got Hammond.
They got a hatchery, so they could do that now.
Yeah, and include Woo.
Yeah, have Woo. Yeah, have Woo as the exclusive, and have Nedry in there as well.
In the Hawaiian shirt again, of
That'd
course.
be cool. Yeah. I think they wouldn't worry too much about action features either. It would just be like a little working control room that you can turn the lights on and stuff.
That would be really cool.
I wouldn't be surprised they do that. We'll have to wait and see.
I'm gonna hit you with a hard question because I love to. Which exclusive is your favourite, JC?
It's got to be Nedry.
Got to be Nedry, cool.
It's got to be Nedry because he's, the core villain of the film. Yeah. And yet here he is in his Hawaiian shirt with his pie at the beginning. I mean, it's just... And then it's the way the box is so serious outside. You open it up, it's the can. Oh man, this is the can.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you got the can, then you open it up, and it's Nedry inside this Hawaiian shirt. It's just... that's just genius as a collectible goes. So yeah, that... For me, that surpasses it just being an action figure exclusive. That becomes a little thing you want, a little joke, a little, like something that makes you laugh, makes you smile, makes you remember that film. I think that's probably the best thing they've done.
I think that's cool. That's high praise. And obviously at the time we're recording this, we have now seen this year's SDCC exclusive.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, what would your dream exclusive look like? I can tell you mine if it helps.
Yeah, what's yours?
Brad's pitched it so many times at this point that I think they need to do it. And that is Gennaro on the toilet with collapsing sides.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
See, now that's got the humour to it as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, my mind goes to something serious. Like, I think you could have something serious that would be done really well, but I'd have to have a think about what it could be. I don't know.
Who's the mercenary in the blue shirt in JP3?
Udesky?
Yeah, you could get one of the raptors holding up Udesky before they snap his neck.
Yeah, something like that would be cool. I think... Oh, my phone's going off. I think probably in the first film, in the realms of the first film, they've done a lot of the sort of play sets that I would like to see.
Yeah.
So I've run out of ideas. But
that's no bad thing. What about ending on a big visitor centre?
Yeah, visitor centre or the Jurassic Park gates would be cool.
Yes, I said that to Tim the other day. The gates would be awesome.
That would be a nice way to end it if they couldn't do any more. To give you the gates. Even like an electric fence set would be pretty cool with different interchangeable signs so you can really dress your scenes. But yeah, no, I think they've done it with the Nedry set. I think that's probably, for me, that's about as good as it gets.
There you go. That's high praise indeed then.
Maybe you could have the goat that comes up, the little mechanical...
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
I'd like that, yeah. That would be awesome. And then you could include a bloody stump of a goat to put with your Ford Explorer playset. Yeah.
You could have detachable leggy bloody stumps that you can take off.
Oh man. Well, listen, this has been a lot of fun doing this series. And I wanted to end it by just giving you an opportunity to speak to people who have been watching the series, and to just leave some thoughts with them as we close out the first season of Legacy Collection Chat. So what would you like to leave with people who are listening at home?
Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. I have to be absolutely frank that this was a passion project of Tom's. And he's put so much work into it that it's unbelievable. He really did spend most of his Christmas holidays putting this together so that we could record it. So I just wanted to say a huge thank you to you and to recognise the fact that this is your project and you've done such a wonderful job with it. So thank you, Tom, for doing that. But also, it's been wonderful comparing the new Legacy collection to the old and just discussing it, just talking about things we did like, we didn't like, what works and what doesn't work. I think we're in a really fortunate position where this stuff exists at all. And I think it's just amazing that it's had this regeneration and it's available for collectors again. I think it's tremendous. So yeah, part of me is just so glad it exists.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I hope the viewers have enjoyed hearing us ramble on about them as well.
Yeah, I just echo all of that, and I'd like to say huge thank you to everyone who has listened to this and has joined us and has, I would say, watched the videos, but it's just an audio spectrum. It kept it easier to produce so many of these, so hopefully you can excuse the simplicity of the graphics. But yeah, thank you.
Tremendous.
Thank you so much for listening to this, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. I know I've been very conscious since I've started on the channel that a lot of you still want to hear from JC and hear his thoughts on all of these wonderful toys that we're getting, so I think this was a really fun medium to explore that, and actually, JC, to give you a chance to share your thoughts on these things that you might not otherwise be opening and be able in a position to review. At least we've had an avenue to have those discussions and share your thoughts on them, so I really hope that that's been something that people have wanted and that they're glad that we've finally been able to put out for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so with all of that said, guys, that is it for the initial series of Legacy Collection Chat. We hope you've enjoyed our deep dive into all things classic Jurassic over the past few weeks. Thank you to those of you who have stayed with us. And we look forward to no doubt having more discussions with you about future releases. Let us know what you thought about this series in the comments below, and make sure to sound off and let us know if you would like to see more from Legacy Collection Chat in the future. For now, I've been Tom Jurassic. JC, why don't you sign off?
So don't forget, guys, to rate, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you for seasons 2, 3 and 4.
And 17.